since we were talking so much about parenting, it's just that I feel everybody should accept your child with all their faults because nobody is perfect. We have our own strengths and weaknesses.
From the Garden State, New Jersey, from one mom to another, it's time for Mom's Talk. Here's Avni.
Welcome, Supermoms, to another episode of Mom's Talk. We have with us today a very popular personality joining us from Chennai, a supermom who's a doctor turned into an actress. Sharmila, Dr. Sharmila. Sharmila, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show today.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, absolute pleasure to talk to you. I mean, we've talked to each other so much over the phone, but then I'm getting to see you in person for the first time. So nice talking to you. Looking
Absolutely.
absolutely gorgeous. I love that neck piece and I love that watch in your hand.
Thank you so much, Sharmila. You too. You're looking stunning. You're looking
Thank
stunning.
you. Thank you so much.
It's so good to see you.
Thank
I
you.
wish
Thank
we
you.
could do this in person as well
Seriously, yes.
soon.
Probably we will sometime.
We will absolutely for sure. All right, Sharmila, you're a doctor.
Mm,
You studied your MBBS. You became a doctor,
yeah.
and that requires a lot of patience and a lot of hard work.
Yes.
And it's a very promising career if we look at it. And not a lot of people usually think of changing their careers after becoming a doctor. And you're doing so well in media now. So how did all this happen? I mean, did that kind of a thought, was it like seeping into your mind while you're doing your MBBS or growing
Uh,
up that you can get into acting?
No, see, actually, I was born in a very traditional, authentic South Indian family, a South Indian Brahmin family. So it so happens, generally in these kind of households, when you're about 3, 4 years old, they put you into classical dance classes, classical music. All these art forms are given a lot of importance in this kind of traditional setup. So I started learning music and dance at the age of 3.5. I hardly knew to
Wow,
walk, but then I started learning, and I
that's
went out
wonderful.
to. So this passion for fine arts was always there, And again, in traditional Indian households, in my time at least, when I was growing, it was like your profession is either you have to choose medicine or engineering, because these two were the prime professions. Like people always
Professions.
looked up to, and oh my God,
True.
your daughter is a doctor, huh? Your daughter is an engineer. So that kind of
Yeah.
mindset was there in my generation, So it was like, yeah, I personally liked science a lot, and I wanted to do medicine because my father was in the pharmaceutical industry. He was with
Okay.
Abbott Healthcare. So
All right.
yeah, so the passion for science, the passion for medicine was always there. And parallelly, the passion for fine arts was always lurking somewhere behind over there, And I was kind of a late bloomer, I think, because a bit late in my life, I realized that my heart actually lies in fine arts. So I just decided to take the leap, and I was actually for quite a long time I was balancing in both the boats. That is, I was working as a doctor and I was doing media also. But
Oh,
there
wow.
came a point when I had to choose between the two, And my heart lies with media, so I guess I made the shift. But though I'm not fully out of medicine, also I run my own pharmaceutical company. I have a pharmaceutical distribution company, so I'm completely not out of medicine too. So I do
All
this, and
right. So you are Dr. Sharmila, actress.
yeah, doctor by profession, actor by passion. You could call that.
Absolutely. And you're doing wonderful. You're doing so well in this career as well, in media as well.
Thank you so much.
I believe you've been doing this for over 26 years now, 26,
Yeah,
27
yeah.
years.
I'm on my 20. I've completed 27, going on 28.
All right. You do look like 26, 27,
Oh,
28
please.
as well.
You're only seeing me till this. Looks can be so deceptive, but anyway, thank you.
The beauty lies in your thoughts and your looks as well.
Thank you.
I truly believe that a person, the face is a reflection of the kind of person you are.
I always
So,
keep telling people, you should have three hobbies. One
yeah.
is a hobby which can make you money. One is a
Hmm.
hobby which can keep you in shape. And one is a hobby which can feed you creatively. So life is
That
set.
is that is wonderful. And that is so true if you
I
actually
know.
think about it. If
Yeah,
you
if you think of
actually,
your work as a hobby, when you think of your
yeah,
work as a hobby, you put in so much of passion into your work, then it never ceases
yeah,
to become, it never becomes boring. Yeah. So
that's true. That's true. All this that I'm hearing from you, Sharmila, and yes, we have spoken a lot before as well. I've seen that you have a very friendly relationship with
yeah,
your daughter,
true.
which is not very easy to achieve. So, and especially with you, being a doctor, being an actress, with this busy schedule that you're in, how do you manage to do that?
Actually, see, when I delivered her, I took a break because I guess we have to set our priorities straight, very
Hmm.
frankly speaking, Being a woman, yes, career is very important, but I definitely think career takes a backseat for a while when you
Hmm.
have a kid. And for the first 2.5 years of her life, I was not working. I was there with her full time because I wanted to be with her and take care of her. And that mom-daughter bonding, it happens. And generally, also they say within the first 3 years of life, what you do for the first 3 years or 4 years of their life is what
Hmm.
carries on for the rest of their lives. So the first 3-4 years, if you do the things the right way, then you don't have to worry
Hmm.
about the remaining years. So if we miss those first 3 years of life, then we'll be landing up. We'll be trying to correct it for the rest of their lives. So I
Hmm.
didn't want
Hmm.
that to happen. So first 2.5 years, I took a break. I took a break from my
Hmm.
work, and I used to be with her, and I actually enjoyed that time a lot. It was a well-deserved break because I was so busy before that, hardly any time to. I was literally living out of suitcases. You won't believe,
Wow.
traveling, and so this was actually a welcome break. So I took a nice break, and I enjoyed her growing up years. I really enjoyed that, and the communication was established then. Because see,
Hmm.
a lot of people wonder how much a 3-year-old can understand or how much they can feel, but
Hmm.
they're very tangible. They can
Hmm.
they can they can differentiate between an affectionate hug and a formal hug. Children can differentiate, they're very smart, especially children these
Hmm.
days are really smart, as you said, with all these technological advances and all that. Kids are very smart. So the communication channel was established then, right from those years.
Hmm. Hmm.
So over a period of time, as and when she was growing, I never made a checklist that these are the things you should do, these are the things you shouldn't do. I've never done that. I never believed that, she should be. There were a lot of peer pressures, especially if you
Hmm.
see from the relatives and all that, your mom is so good, your mom is a professional, your mom is doing this also, so you should be like your mom. These kind of things, of course, people around keep telling her that. But I always made it very clear to her that she can do whatever she wants to do. She doesn't have to emulate me or my husband. She doesn't have to follow our footsteps for sure. I told her, please don't follow our footsteps. You make a path of your own. Why don't you follow whatever you want to do? I've always given her the freedom of choice, just like what my parents helped me with. So she's always been a very level-headed child. She's always very self-reliant. I never pampered her. I never protected her, seriously, because I feel only if you allow children to you expose children to different situations, you allow them to experience disappointments in life, then they will know the value of success better. We as moms, we generally have a tendency to kind of overprotect our children, and we feel,
Hmm.
whatever I've experienced, my child shouldn't go through that. That kind of overprotection is always there, which I
Yeah.
feel is wrong. I think you should just let them be, let them fall and then learn to get up. So only when they face failures in life, only when they make the wrong decisions, they realize the value of the right decisions. They realize the value of success, and so it doesn't go to their head. They're very level-headed. They become very self-reliant. they learn to take responsibility for their actions. They learn to take responsibility for their decisions. So I think we can start off with small things, giving a choice. Like for simple example, if you say she gets up in the morning, I say, okay, you have a choice. You want to change first, or you want to brush and have your bath first and then have your breakfast. Simple choices. So she makes, see, ultimately she has to do both, but then she makes the choice whether she wants to do this first or that. So like that, you start off with that, and other slowly you graduate to bigger choices. You give them the choices, teach them the value of money, teach them the value of hard work. Everything comes by practice, because see, I told you, I'm not very tech savvy. The simple reason is I'm not too much on the phone, because I want to set an example for my daughter. I don't, she has a phone, of course, because now it's the era of online classes, because everywhere,
Yeah.
because of this COVID situation, online classes are going on. But when I tell my daughter not to be too much on social media, or not to be very active on social media, I felt I should set an example by not being active on social media. Because when I do that, and then I tell her don't do that, then it carries no meaning. It doesn't.
That's so
The
true.
message doesn't go across seriously. I prefer spending that quality time with her, because as such, as you said, I hardly get time to spend with her. Of course, now again I've reduced my commitments, because I want to spend more time with her. She's entering her adolescence. She's going into her final school year this year. So I guess it is a very tough time for her, because it's going to be very hectic. So
Yeah.
I thought that I should be there for her, and I should support her. So it's not the amount of time that you spend with your children, it's the quality of the time that you spend with your children. Even if it's going to be 15 minutes, if you're going to give your 100% attention and make that 15 minutes very enriching experience, I think that's what matters. I've never spent a lot of time with my daughter as other moms do, but I've definitely spent quality time with her, which I'm actually, I feel even she enjoys, because too much of familiarity also, being a helicopter mom and like behind her always, I think they'll get very irritated. After some time, they'll get fed up. So I think we should give them their space here. And communication wise also, I've been very, very free with her. Right from her childhood days, I've told her that whatever it may be, you come and tell your mom. Your mom is there for you. I'm not only your mom, I'm your friend. Even if it's a mistake, even if you've done something wrong, it's okay. See, everybody falters, okay? Nobody is perfect. Everybody falters. Everybody has
True.
ups and downs in life. We always trip. Even at this age, we sometimes land up making wrong decisions. So the best thing is, why don't you come and tell me? So let's try to find out a solution. Let's try to work around that, and let's see what best can be done, or even if there's any damage control to be done. I think if you come to me, we can probably talk it and sort it out, and do what is necessary. Instead of keeping it within you, or instead of trying to lie to me, or instead of complicating things, it's better you come and tell me. So even right from her childhood days till now, she's always been very frank with me. She's come and told me everything. So that communication channel I've established right from her kiddo days. And psychologically also, see, they all these years they've been listening to us, and they've been doing what we say. But now is the age when they start to question everything. So they become argumentative, they become angry, they become arrogant, they become very adventurous. Everything happens at this age. Adolescence is adolescence is pretty tricky. We've gone through it, so we know what kind of frustrations will be there. Because see, society puts so much of expectations on the children. They expect them to adhere to certain parameters. They've set certain parameters for success. They say, okay, you land up in this college, that means you're successful. You land up with this job, if your pay packet is this much, then you're successful. But I don't believe in that. I think success is relative. I'm happy doing what I want, and that means I'm successful in life. So success is very relative term. So we cannot generalize success into certain
What
parameters.
success is.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I've never put that pressure on my daughter. I've never told her that you have to do medicine, or you have to be a professional. No. If you want to pursue arts, fine. You want to learn music, fine. Pick up a career in music. I think you have to be, as long as you're passionate about whatever you do, I think you're happy in life, and you make a small change in other people's lives. I think that's the most successful person, rather than having a $1 billion mansion or a fleet of cars. I don't go by that.
That is so true. That is so true. That satisfaction of um, the satisfaction of having what you have is
Exactly.
very important.
True.
This
True.
is, and that is what keeps you happy. That keeps everything. If you're not happy, I don't think there can be anything,
Exactly.
anybody
Exactly.
around you whom you can
Mm.
keep happy. So
Yeah. Now, at the same time, I wouldn't say that you have to just let them scot free. That also cannot happen. You have to put your foot down at certain times. There are times when I've argued and I put my foot down. I said no. That's where, say, anything illegal or immoral or unlawful or destructive or anything dangerous, I definitely put my foot down and say no. This is not for you. This you shouldn't. You're not supposed to do. So these, apart from this, you have the cause and effect theory. If there is something for a short-term pleasure, you can't sacrifice a long-term vision of yours. So that if you make them understand, it's very easy
yeah.
for them. Because instead of arguing with them and tell them, you do this because I told you to do this, because
Yeah.
I say so. Instead of doing that, if you make them understand that for this short-term pleasure, if you're going to give up that long-term commitment, then it's going to be detrimental to you. When you make them understand that, I think they will know. You can't blame them for being angry. You can't blame them for being frustrated at this age, because it happens. It's not that they're doing it wantedly. So accepting their fault, or I wouldn't even call it a fault, accepting that behavior is more important as a parent. You have the right to get upset, you have a right to be angry. Similarly, they have a right to get upset, they have a right to be angry. Just because we
True.
brought them into the world, we don't, it doesn't give us the right to control them, or try
Yeah.
to mold them according to one picture perfect which we have in our minds. So just I feel they are more like wildflowers. You just let them bloom, you just let them mature and let them catch the sunshine. I think they'll look really beautiful like that way.
That is so true, Sharmila. What we have spoken earlier, and even right now, I think I like it when you say and how you've explained how to get to this kind of a open communication, how to keep that open communication with your children. And I like it when you say that you right from the beginning, it starts from the beginning where
Yes.
you, if you were given a chance, what is that
Mm.
one thing that you would change in the world?
I would change the education system, which is so formal education system over here. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is one thing which is actually putting too much of pressure on the next generation. So I think I would get away with from this formal education system, or this
Mm-hmm.
formal style of education. I think I'll do away with that and probably try to bring in a more informal system of education where everybody
Uh-huh.
can learn what they want to learn and do what they want to do. So that there are no social parameters or pressures on them. So that I feel will contribute more towards the child's personal growth and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
positivity. So since we were talking so much about parenting, it's just
Mm-hmm.
that I feel everybody should accept your child with all their faults, because nobody is perfect. We have our own strengths and weaknesses. Similarly, every child will have their own strengths and weaknesses. So the
Mm-hmm.
minute we learn to be non-judgmental about our own children, the
Mm-hmm.
minute we learn to accept both their strengths and weaknesses with equal maturity, I
Mm-hmm.
think we cross half the bridge. Then the next half is all about spending time with them and showing them that you love them. We don't
Mm-hmm.
show them much. I think you have to be a bit physical with your children. Show them that you love them. A
Yeah,
simple hug goes a long way. It can do what a million words cannot do. A simple hug can do. So I
that's
think we
true.
have to, yeah, we have to be more expressive towards our children. And last but not the least, we have to see that they are self-reliant.
Mm-hmm.
They can with that you can start by asking them to do the small chores at home. You
Mm-hmm.
can ask them
Mm-hmm.
to do that. That gives them a sense of responsibility. That gives them a sense of self-reliance. That gives them a sense of identity of their own. So they're
Mm-hmm.
able to decide on what they want to do. When you give them, as I said, when you give them the opportunity to make their own choices, so they start forming opinions. They know
Yeah.
they're able to realize the significance of their own actions, or the significance of their own decisions. So all
Mm-hmm.
this makes them very self-reliant. So instead of being very what to say, academically perfect children or
Mm-hmm.
academically intelligent children, I think the practical knowledge of day-to-day life is more important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where we teach children to be successful, where we put so much of pressure on them to be successful, I think we
Mm-hmm.
should also teach them to accept failure with grace and move on. accept the failure and try again and move on, and this is not lost, because a lot of parents fail to do that, and that is why we see so much of especially in India nowadays, you see a lot of suicides in amongst teenagers and amongst school children,
Yeah.
which is quite alarming, because I guess parents put so much of teach them so much about success and things in life, but they don't teach them how to handle failures, and they don't teach them how to be strong when you when something just doesn't go the way you want to go, because it happens
Yeah.
to everybody faces failures in life. I've reached the stage in life, I've sacrificed a lot, I have faced a lot of failures and disappointments, and only I've that has made me learn, and that has made me take the next step forward. So I think we should teach our children to be what to say patient, to be loved, to be cherished, and teach them a lot of empathy. All that, I think, is these value systems are what is more important than a formal education. Value systems only we can teach our children. Only we
That's
can
true. Yeah.
teach our children. That cannot be taught in schools. Schools can teach you science. Schools can teach you history, geography, math, but love, empathy, and these kind of stuff, team spirit, confidence, and all that, I think,
Yeah.
as parents, we should teach them.
This is lovely. Thank you so much, Sharmila. I have learned so much just talking to you right now. Even
Thank
before when we spoke, I was, the more and more I talk to you, the more and more I'm learning. So
Thank you.
thank you so much for sparing time for us, for coming on the show, for sharing your wonderful thoughts with us. I'm very, very sure that all our moms who are listening, who are watching our show, will be benefited
Yeah.
tremendously with this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity of for sharing my thoughts. And the only one thing which I would like to say to all those beautiful super moms who are out there, each and every one of you is a super mom. we all learn from our mistakes. We all learn from our errors. So don't get disappointed. Don't get disheartened. Things will definitely work up. Keep your fingers crossed and keep trying. I think all of us will definitely be super moms one day.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just being a mom makes them a super mom.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Being a mom is such a difficult task, seriously.
Yeah.
And being a parent, there's no such thing as perfect parent, dear audience. Please understand, all you moms, you don't have to be perfect. Please be beautiful, because please be imperfect, because that imperfections is what makes you more beautiful. Take a chill pill once in a while. Sit back, relax, and keep all your responsibility aside. Take a break and rejuvenate yourself. I think that's the way you have to go on with life.
Beautiful, lovely, lovely talking to you, Sharmila.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely talking to you too, Avni. I think we have to keep our plans for a further date, We have a drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have to drive together. We have to dance together.
Dance
So
together.
much. I know.
Yes, I am all ready to see you in the movies,
Ah.
in shows, and
Yeah.
as a politician as well.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully.
And
The
politician, yeah.
political bug has not bitten me yet, so when it happens, it will happen.
You got to be a politician, especially in the Department of Education, to make that change.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If ever I get into politics, I'll definitely want to be the education minister. Would like to change a lot of things.
There you go. Dr. Sharmila, doctor turned actress turned education minister,
Yeah, hopefully.
politician,
May your words
and a
come true.
wonderful dancer, and an absolutely wonderful dancer.
Yeah, and an absolutely fantastic driver in the future.
Yes, that will be for sure.
Yeah, that one of my most serious resolutions to learn driving this year.
Hi, this is Avni from Mom's Talk. Help me spread the word and join me on my mission of motivating other moms by sharing the video. Thank you for watching.